Welcome to 5 Minutes in the Word. Today we are looking at John 1:43 through 51, and we're going to start by reading the Word. The next day Jesus decided to go to Galilee. He found Philip and said to him, "Follow me." Now Philip was from Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Peter. Philip found Nathanael and said to him, "We have found him of whom Moses and the law, also of the prophets, wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph." Nathanael said to him, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" Philip said to him, "Come and see." Jesus saw Nathanael coming toward him and said of him, "Behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom there is no deceit." Nathanael said to him, "How do you know me?" Jesus answered him, Before Philip called you, when you were under the fig tree, I saw you." Nathanael answered him, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God, you are the King of Israel." Jesus answered him, "Because I have said to you, I saw you under the fig tree, do you believe? You will see greater things than this." And he said to him, "Truly, truly, I say to you, you will see heaven opened and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man." So this morning we have kind of a cool little passage here. But as we've been doing these 5 minutes in the Word, there's a couple questions that we ask. So is there an example for us to live by? One of the things that we see here is Philip as he goes to Nathanael and he simply just says, "Hey, we found Jesus. This is the one who the prophets have talked about, the one who Moses and the law directed us towards. Like this is the one that they pointed us to," and he said that he was Jesus of Nazareth. You see Nathanael at first be hesitant because he's like, "Is there anything good that can come out of Nazareth?" So Nathanael is hesitant there, but then as Philip says, "Hey, come and see," Nathanael gets up and goes. So a couple things we have a simply, and I think there's different aspects of this thing that we can look at, but Philip, who simply just goes to Nathanael and says, "Hey, here's Jesus. Here's who he is." And then so there are some simple things there that we can do. There's also this Nathanael who just simply gets up and goes, and once he meets Jesus, he just simply believes. And so it's interesting there. So there's just a simplicity in these things. But as we also look, another question that we ask: is there a sin for us to confess? I know many times, many of us, including myself, just try to make believing so much more of a difficult thing than what it is. And so as we see here, it's not this difficult process. It's not this difficult thing. It's just this simply believing, as Romans 10:9 says, or is it 9:10? but it simply says to confess Jesus as Lord. And so we confess him as Lord and believe and submit and follow. And you see this here as we've gone through these other passages of simply believing and following. Is there a truth for us to understand here? Man, I think one of the simplest things that we can see and a truth to understand is that God is able to use the unlikeliest of things. As we see Nathanael stated earlier, is there anything good that can come out of Nazareth? God used Jesus. Jesus was a carpenter. He was nothing of high authority. He wasn't of anything of great power. Jesus' human role was nothing of great importance. But as we know, like who Jesus is, like he's of great importance. He's this incredible. He is God. And so as we see this, God is able to use the unlikeliest things. In 1 Corinthians 1:27, it says that God is able to use the foolish things to shame the wise. He is able to use the weakest of things to shame the strong. And so I find that encouraging, and a truth for us to understand is that God is able to use anything. Is there a comfort for us to experience? Man, I think one of the coolest things we see here is that God knows us. As you see, when Philip is bringing Nathanael to Jesus, Jesus sees him coming and he says, "Behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom there is no deceit." And as Nathaniel sees that and hears that, he's like, wait, how do you know me? How do you know me? He questions this a little bit and stuff, but you see that simple belief of him believing in Jesus, and the comfort of knowing that God knows us. The scripture says in Psalms 139:13, He knit us together in our mother's room. He also, in the Gospels, it also says that He knows the number of hairs on our head. That's a comforting fact to know that He knows us. He doesn't just see us and just pushes us aside, but he knows things about us and knows us intimately, as you see with Jesus, with Nathaniel. He's able to say things about Nathaniel that Nathaniel wasn't able to tell him, or someone else didn't tell Jesus about him. But you see that Jesus knew him, and so that's a comforting fact that we know that God knows us. So today, as a challenge, I just kind of challenge you to simply think about what are some simple ways that I can share Jesus today, especially during this time where COVID and everything, of how can I simply share Jesus. And it's not up to us that that person gets saved, so don't think that you have to do that. It's God is the one who saves, He's the one who redeems. But what are some simple ways that you can share Jesus with others today?